to people. I spoke to one person who attended a meeting with Donald Trump in the not too distant past with a senior British cabinet minister, and they said to me it's quite extraordinary entering what they described as the Trump orbit. And they had two analogies. The first is they said it's like being in a zoo. Donald Trump is the big and dominant beast prowling around his cage. Everything revolves around him. And the second analogy this person told me is that conversation with Donald Trump is like dealing with a human lighthouse. So the light focuses on you. You've been spending hours. I need to land this message and that message. You do it whilst the light is looking at you. Then off goes the light. He'll take a call on his phone. He'll put it on speaker. Hey, I've got Keir Starmer here. Join in the conversation. Then the light comes back. Then off it goes. And this person said he started talking about the dunes on his Scottish golf course. And then back he comes. And then off he goes. And he'll talk about the late Queen Elizabeth. And the reason for that is his late mother, Mary Ann, let's get this right, Mary Ann MacLeod Trump loved Queen Elizabeth II. So he'll talk about that. That would be a good moment for Keir Starmer potentially to land a state visit to be hosted by King Charles III. Quite a good moment to do that, that would be.
Yeah. Malcolm Turnbull, do you recognise that? The big beast prowling around his cage, the lighthouse?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, look, he is a big beast and big, as I said, a big bullying personality. I mean, that is his position.
One last thing I do want to ask you. We heard Katie McFarlane say, are Russians really going to fire on thousands of American citizens who are working in the east of Ukraine? What do you think about that?
Well, the reality is that, firstly, it is very difficult to develop mining, mineral deposits of this kind. I mean, I've actually... I'm not suggesting KT may have a background in the mining industry. I've actually developed mining projects in Russia.
No, but this is about whether that would be automatic security.
But my point is that we don't know whether these deposits are commercial, whether they're economic. They have. I mean, there are Americans, and Australians for that matter, and Brits pretty much everywhere in the world, and I don't think it is at all. It all follows automatically that simply because there are some American businesses in Ukraine developing a mine or whatever, that would prevent Putin making a further move. And in any event, what he will do, his modus operandi will be firstly to destabilise the Ukrainian political environment and try to get people elected. He'll interfere with the political processes there and try to get people elected that are, sympathetic to him. So, if he can't absolutely annex Ukraine and turn it into part of the Russian Federation, then all of Ukraine, I mean, then he will seek to turn it into a neutral state. I mean, we used to have a term in the Cold War called Finlandisation for a country that was neutral and inoffensive to the Soviet Union. Okay. Well, of course, Finland has de-Finlandised itself now. It's in NATO, but that's where Putin would want it.
Let me just go back to Katie McFarlane, who's hearing you, Mr. Turnbull. I mean, is Malcolm Turnbull right? That's what President Putin wants. And at the moment, it looks like President Trump trusts President Putin.
There's a reason that Vladimir Putin did not invade Ukraine during Trump's administration.
You just completely ignored my question. You've completely ignored my question.
No, I mean, does he like him? I think Donald Trump is looking at Putin and he's looking beyond Ukraine. You're all focused on Ukraine. That's your big thing. You're in that neighborhood. But President Trump is looking at, okay, so what is the biggest strategic and existential threat to the United States today? It's a Sino-Russian alliance with Chinese technology, Chinese money, Russian weapons, Russian natural resources. Is there any way to break that apart? That wasn't the case 4 years ago when he was president, but they've grown closer and closer. Is there some way that you can have a relationship with Vladimir Putin, not trusting Vladimir Putin, trust but verify, but a way to have some kind of relationship that may pull him a little bit further from the embrace that he's got with the Chinese? Okay. Very similar to what Henry Kissinger did in the 70s with the Sino-Soviet alliance.
Thank you both very much. Thank you. Katie McFarland. Malcolm Turnbull, thank you very much for speaking to our audience here in the UK. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me introduce...
Not in Ukraine, but around Ukraine.
Right. Can we explore that a little bit more then? I mean, do we think... I mean, that would be music to President Putin's ears, wouldn't it?
And that will require some kind of that land being taken back by Ukraine, because that's the bit that actually currently is occupied by Russia.
Absolutely.
And Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, did say no to NATO troops in Ukraine, completely contradicting what Donald Trump quoted Vladimir Putin as telling him.
I just want to pause at that moment because...
Better deal than signing away $500 billion to the US, who've paid $120-odd billion. So it's better than that, but it's not a great deal.
Yeah. I mean, from what we know of it so far, and one former senior Conservative cabinet minister said to me, why is Ukraine apparently paying reparations to the United States? Politics at Oxford University, Ben Ansell. He's also the host of Radio 4's Rethink programme. And the Labour MP for East Thanet, Polly Billington. She was elected last July. Welcome, both of you. What's the most... Can we explore that a little bit more then? I mean, do we think... I mean, that would be music to President Putin's ears, wouldn't it?
Well, I think the question is, did any of us really expect, even under Joe Biden, for American troops to be on the ground in Ukraine?
No, I'm not suggesting American troops on the ground in Ukraine. I'm talking about a backstop, the air cover, bolstering a few American troops in Poland.
Although apparently American boots will be on the ground in mining companies, according to Donald Trump, at a very different time.
Whether they'll be armed or not, I don't think so.
I mean, this will be...
David Lammy says that's the best security Ukraine can have.
Right,
really?
There we are.
American citizens on the ground?
If US interests are on the ground in Ukraine, then that is the best security guarantee that the Ukrainians...
I would say that didn't work out in Iran or in other countries in the Middle East in the past.
American military advisors, we've been there before.
Right. So we're suggesting that Russians wouldn't fire on America. Is this where we're getting to? We're saying Russians wouldn't fire on American citizens. That's why it would be automatic
I think
security?
This is a thought that Donald Trump had in a meeting that he said out loud. I mean, yes, if many American citizens were killed in a Russian missile attack, that would probably lead to some consequence, but would it lead to the type of consequence we expect from Article 5 in NATO? Absolutely not. And it's hard to imagine, by the way, that American businesses will be on the ground mining rare earth materials where we don't even know exactly where they are or how valuable they are for several years, right? That will also take a while. It's not the same as saying we will provide you air cover in a month's time.
Yeah. I'm just imagining... Thank you very much, Polly Billington, Ben Ansell. Thank you for being with us. That is it from us tonight. Faisal and Nick are here tomorrow. Good night. Thank you both very much. Thank you, Katie McFarland.
Thank you.
Malcolm Turnbull, thank you very much for speaking to our audience here in the UK. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me introduce your panel this evening. It's Professor of Politics at Oxford University, Ben Ansell. He's also the host of Radio 4's Rethink programme. And the Labour MP for East Thanet, Polly Billington. She was elected last July. Welcome, both of you. Thank you very much, Polly Billington, Ben Ansell. Thank you for being with us. That is it from us tonight. Faisal and Nick are here tomorrow.